Hi, every wise reader. Welcome to the next video from Read Wiser, a YouTube channel dedicated to helping you improve yourself through books. Today, we're diving into The Latte Factor by David Bach and John David Mann. Do you ever feel like you're working hard, earning a decent salary, but you just can't get ahead? You look at your bank account at the end of the month, and there's nothing left. You see things you want: a vacation, a nicer apartment, even just a little financial peace, and they all feel impossible. You're stuck in the "I can't afford it" trap. What if you were told that you're already earning enough to be rich? That the money you need isn't in some future raise, but in the coffee you're holding right now? This book provides a simple 3-step plan to achieve financial freedom, not by budgeting, but by living rich right now. The Latte Factor tells its story through a parable, and our protagonist is Zoe. She's 27, lives in New York City, and has what looks like a good job as an editor at a travel magazine. But the reality is, Zoe is drowning. She's living paycheck to paycheck, buried under student loan debt, and has zero savings. The ultimate irony? The travel editor has never even traveled outside the US. Her life is a constant loop of anxiety, defined by her least favorite phrase, "I can't afford it." This vague unease becomes a crisis when two things happen. First, she sees an ad in the subway. If you don't know where you're going, you might not like where you end up. It hits her hard. Second, she becomes obsessed with a beautiful, expensive photograph of a seaside village in her local coffee shop, a photo that represents the rich life she craves, but feels she can never have. That's when she meets Henry, the shop's wise older barista. When she laments that she can't afford the photo, Henry challenges her entire worldview. He points to her daily latte and says, "If you can afford that, you can afford this photograph, perhaps. You're richer than you think." This conversation kicks off Zoe's journey to learn the 3 secrets to financial freedom. So let's follow Zoe as she reevaluates her entire life, starting with her core beliefs about money. Before Henry shares any secrets, he first has to fix Zoe's perspective. He introduces a concept from photography called the oculus. He explains that the oculus is your mind's eye, the place you choose to stand, which determines the entire picture you compose. Zoe's oculus is one of scarcity. She stands in a place of debt and anxiety, so her entire life's picture is framed by what she lacks. Her problem isn't just her student loans, it's her mindset. She is defined by her financial stress. She believes she's terrible with money and that her situation is hopeless. This belief system is the real trap, and it's what Henry needs to break first. He challenges her by showing her a sketch of her own tombstone and asks her what picture she wants her life to look like when it's all over. This stark exercise, combined with the unsettling ad slogan, forces Zoe to admit the truth. She doesn't know where she's going, and she is terrified of where she might end up. This is the critical first step. Before you can change your finances, you must change your perspective and decide what kind of life you actually want to build. This moves us to the first mechanical secret: how to start building. Henry's first secret is a phrase you may have heard, but he argues most people get it wrong: pay yourself first. This doesn't mean treat yourself to a spa day when you get paid. It means the very first person who gets paid from your paycheck is you, your future self. Henry reframes Zoe's workday. He sketches a clock and shows her that from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., she's working just to pay taxes. From 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m., she's working to pay her rent. Then she works for her transportation, her food, and her debt. At the end of the day, she's worked for everyone else and there's nothing left for her. The solution is to flip the script and pay yourself the first hour of your day's income. But what's the point? Henry argues that earning more money won't make her rich. He uses a metaphor. When the tide rises, the boat rises with it. Most people, when they get a raise, just spend more. The problem isn't income, it's habits. By paying yourself first, you harness the miracle of compound interest. Henry shows Zoe a chart. Saving just $10 a day at a 10% return can grow to over $1.8 million in 40 years. The secret is not the amount, it's the consistency. Paying yourself first is like putting on your own oxygen mask before helping others. It's the necessary first step for survival. But this leads to Zoe's next big problem. How can she possibly stick with it? Zoe protests. She has zero discipline with money. She can't even stick to an exercise plan. How can she pay herself first for 40 years? Henry agrees with her. She can't, and she doesn't have to. This brings us to the second secret, which is the how-to. Don't budget, make it automatic. Henry and his friend Baron, a colorful oil tycoon, explain that budgets are like diets. They are no fun, they go against our nature, and they are dang near impossible to stick with. They are based on willpower, and willpower always fails. The solution is to take the day-to-day decision out of your hands completely. Set up a system that saves for you, requiring zero discipline, zero self-control, zero willpower. The best way to do this is through your employer's retirement account, like a 401k. The money is automatically deducted before it's taxed and before it ever hits your checking account. You can't spend what you never see. Baron reinforces this with his own story. He used to be big hat, no cattle, all show, all debt. He was the image of wealth but had no real assets. He had to lose everything to learn to build real wealth, which is built on solid, automatic habits, not appearances. But even if Zoe automates her savings, she's still missing a key piece of the puzzle. Zoe's doubts are rooted in false, self-limiting beliefs. Her boss, Barbara, who is secretly a millionaire, sits her down to bust the myths of money. Myth number 1. Make more money and you'll be rich. Barbara confirms what Henry said. Most people have a spending problem, not an income problem. More money just amplifies bad habits. The solution is new habits. Myth number 2. It takes money to make money. This is a total lie. Financial security isn't for an exclusive club. It's built $1 at a time by harnessing compound interest. You don't need a huge chunk of money to start. You just need to start. Myth number 3. Someone else will take care of you. Barbara calls this the biggest and most dangerous myth, especially for women. You cannot rely on a husband, a father, or a financial advisor. You have to be your own Prince Charming. She highlights the harsh financial realities. Women live longer, earn less, and often end up in poverty after a divorce or a spouse's death. You, and only you, are responsible for your financial future. This finally clears Zoe's mental blockers. She's ready for the most practical part of the plan, finding the money. Zoe is on board with the what, pay yourself first, and the how, make it automatic. But she's still stuck on the where. If she's already stretched to the limit. And where does this savings money actually come from? Henry smiles. This is where the Latte Factor comes in. He explains that the money isn't missing. It's just disguised as small, daily, unconscious expenses. He asks her the price of her daily latte, $4.50. He does the math. $4.50 a day, 5 days a week, is nearly $1,200 a year. The exact price of the photograph she wanted. This is the aha moment. The Latte Factor is a metaphor for all the small daily frivolities you spend money on without thinking. The coffee, the muffin, the bottled water, the subscription you don't use. It's not about the coffee itself. It's about identifying the money you could happily do without and redirecting it toward your own future. Henry has Zoe list her daily expenses. Her latte, $4.50. Her muffin, $2.75. her mid-morning juice, $7, her cafeteria lunch, $14, and her bottled water, $1.50. The total is $29.75. She is already spending more than the $25 a day she would need to become a multimillionaire. The money was never the problem. She is richer than she thinks. But even with this knowledge, there's one final secret needed to make it all stick. Henry reveals the third and most important secret: live rich now. This is the why. He explains that the first two secrets won't work if you don't have a powerful, motivating reason. Saving for a retirement that's 40 years away is too abstract, too unreal. You need a why that excites you today. He asks Zoe to recall a memory of flat-out, unbridled joy. She remembers a childhood trip to Maine, feeling free on a boat. From this, they identify her core values: freedom, adventure, and beauty. This, Henry explains, is the point of money. The goal isn't to just be rich. It's to use money to live a life aligned with your values. He suggests she create a dream account, a separate automatic savings account to fund short-term dreams. This makes the saving real and rewarding. She can save for her photography class in one account while her retirement grows in another. To prove it, Henry reveals his own story. He was a successful architect who felt unfulfilled. He took a radical sabbatical, traveled the world for photography, and on that trip he met his wife, Helena. He came back and built his life around his passions. The coffee shop is Helena's Coffee, and the photograph Zoe loves? It's his. He took it in Mykonos right after he proposed. The title is Yes. This is the final lesson. You must be rich in life first. Then, you use the money to fund that life. Zoe's newfound clarity is immediately tested. She gets a call. Her mother is in the hospital. At her mother's bedside, she gets one final powerful piece of advice. Don't settle. Promise me you won't live half your life. Live it all. This becomes Zoe's ultimate why. With this new purpose, Zoe finally takes action. She immediately goes to human resources and sets up her 401k. She goes to her bank and opens two automatic dream accounts, one for her photography course and one for adventure. She then decisively turns down the high-paying, high-stress job offer, realizing it conflicts with her value of freedom. But she doesn't just stay put. She renegotiates her current job. She pitches her boss, Barbara, on the idea of radical sabbaticals, allowing her to travel and write for the magazine, integrating her dreams with her career. Barbara, the secret millionaire, agrees. That night, Zoe experiences the sleep of the free. The constant humming anxiety about money is just gone. Not because she's rich, but because for the first time she has a plan. The book ends 3 years later. Zoe is on her third sabbatical in Mykonos, living the very scene from the photograph. Her credit card debt is gone, she's a published columnist, and she feels, in her own words, like the richest woman in the world. She didn't get a raise. She just changed her habits. The Latte Factor's message is that financial freedom isn't some complex, out-of-reach goal. It's a simple 3-step loop. First, you discover your why, your values, your dreams, your reason to live rich now. This provides the motivation. Second, you find the money. You identify your Latte Factor, all the small unconscious ways you're already spending the money you need. This removes the excuse that you don't earn enough. And third, you build the system. You pay yourself first and make it automatic. This removes willpower from the equation and guarantees your success. The transformation from the Zoe who was trapped and anxious to the Zoe who was free and living her dream wasn't about a lottery ticket or a new job. It was about a simple, powerful shift in perspective and habits. The book proves that you are, right now, richer than you think. You just need to decide where you're going and redirect your money to get you there. The book's powerful idea is that your rich life doesn't have to wait. It can start today with your very next coffee. So, what's your latte factor? Look at your spending for one day. What small things add up that you could redirect? And more importantly, what's one dream you would fund with your own dream account? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this summary valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe to Read Wiser for more insights that can help you improve your life through books. Thanks for watching!